And I'm really happy, by the way, with the actual content, the contacts we've made, the way the product looks, the way the guys have learnt to work the style. You know, we're slowly cutting away, trimming away the fat. We gave a lot of people opportunities to believe. Some people didn't believe, and that's absolutely fine. You know, it's got to a point where I believed in them, they didn't believe in us. I no longer believe in them, and I no longer really want them. You know, I just want the guys that, you know, we're trying to get this airship off the ground. I don't want dead weight, you know. And as a result, for every person we've lost, we've gained 2 guys in other companies that want to come on board, 10 students, a load of people who want to come, you know, so really big things are happening. And yeah, we'll talk about it a bit more later, but it'd be really exciting stuff.
Just before we move on then, I just want to know, is it going to be out for Christmas, this box set?
Well, we're aiming to have it out for Christmas. I mean, tentatively December, January. You know, FWA it appears to be a well-oiled machine if you come to the YouTube channel and you know, wow, they've managed to do that every Thursday. That's amazing. But as you know, we are a small independent wrestling company. We don't have a big budget. We don't have any budget a lot of the times, and it's only because people believe in us and they give us their time and they give us their work and they give us their venues and they give us all these opportunities that we've managed to do this. So we're going to try and get it out for December, although January will be great as well, but it will definitely be out within the next 2 months, and it's one to watch. I mean, I went back, you know, fans are welcome to go and watch all the YouTube videos for free. There's nearly 200 videos up there now. I sat there over a weekend and I wanted to sort of gauge, you know, because you hear people on fan forums saying they're not getting it, and that's fine. Let them do their thing. They're not happy with anything. There's nothing that they like, really, and the things they do like are so niche, and they're not growing. They only seem to like things that aren't getting any bigger, so that there's no fear of them becoming not the cool kids there anymore. So I had to watch it back, and I watched back all the videos, and I was like, man, we've really achieved something in terms of an archive of a really cool wrestling company. You know, like it's not offensive, but it's different and it's edgy, but it's still commercial and you know, and yeah. So I think that box set will do the work that we've done a lot of justice.
Now, one of the reasons I said a minute ago that things are moving really fast relates to something that's happened over this past weekend, which I know you've lent your support to. Now, as long-time wrestling fans will know, the past weekend was the 5-year anniversary of the tragic death of Eddie Guerrero, who you've personally wrestled, and of course.
Well, I didn't wrestle him, but I did an angle, and we promoed and did an angle with him.
You've been in the ring with him at least, and who more broadly, you know, gave a lot to British wrestling. When he was here at Revival, for example, he wrestled Doug Williams. Doug won the match, and it was a big deal at the time for British wrestling. Now.
But actually, I'd like to explain a little bit as well quickly before we move on with that. Yeah. Why Eddie personally to me? I mentioned this before, but I didn't really go into too much detail. I guess it's a funny story. It's a crazy story as well, because it actually involves me and Eddie Guerrero nearly having a fight. I've had a couple of incidents in my life where I've lost my temper, and so sometimes I can fly off the handle. And what happened was we're doing the Revival show, and I had planned it so that I go to, you know, I'm going to hit Eddie with a chair. Eddie ducks. I hit Scott Parker, turns around, drop kicks me, boom, and cuts my face open. Sorry, just drop kicks the chair in my face. What happened was I'm waiting to see his feet go, and boom, the feet don't leave, but the chair gets punched. And the chair, the ridge of the chair, explodes in my face, and I literally end up holding bits of my nose in my hand. And that's how it felt. I mean, I still got the scar there. Yeah, I can see it. And but this was on Revival. I hadn't even had my match yet, and I'm like, man. Anyway, I bump out the ring. I mean, I think the thing's on YouTube, and if you watch the replay, Eddie hits his frog splash, and then afterwards, as his arms being raised, you see him looking, going. It's because I'm outside going. Oh, so, I mean, I was mad. I'm thinking, dude, you just punched that chair in my face. Like, what the. You know. Anyway, I was mad, and then I realised actually as I'm staring, man, this is Eddie Guerrero. Like, you know, there's got to be a reason for it. I get backstage, and he said to me, and he put his arms behind his back, and he said, "I'm so sorry, brother. Like, please just give me a receipt. We're not going to wrestle each other. I'm so sorry. I'll tell you what happened." He said, "I didn't realise the ring was so small," because he hadn't seen the ring. He said, "I'm used to 20 foot, and I get a lot of jump back when I do my drop kick." But there was no room, like, you know, so I punched it. I just didn't realise that the ridge was there. And you know, and he was so apologetic, and it was cool. I said, it's cool. You know, I'm so proud of that scar now. I mean, but Eddie went there that night, and he the match he had with Doug, man, it really got him re-signed. And that was a guy who just cared. He just cared. Like, he just constantly improved and got better and better and better. And I feel like it sounds corny if I say I feel like I've got his spirit with me, but I feel like I have learned so much from seeing that, then getting older, and then if you look at me now, I'm constantly, my shape is physically changing all the time. Some guys say, what's wrong with Alex Shane? He's lost so much weight. That's why I've got abs. You know, I'm training, I'm doing yoga, my wrestling's the best it's ever been, I'm intense in the gym, I'm intense in everything. And that's what Eddie did. He loved it so much that he wouldn't stop. And that's why it's important that we remember what he gave to the fans, the same as Chris Benoit. I don't believe that Chris Benoit should be eradicated from wrestling history. I truly don't believe that, and I think there's a lot more to his death than we know. But I do believe that Eddie is an important part of British wrestling because he put Doug Williams on the map. And Doug Williams is now the ambassador for this country. And he also showed me, who's the person leading the charge now, exactly what I was doing wrong and what I was missing.
You know, it's funny, I'm really glad you told us that story, actually, because it really illustrates the thing I was going to say, which is this campaign is the thing you've got involved in over the past weekend. It launched this weekend. It's called Stand Up to Vince, obviously aimed at WWE, and specifically with two aims. It's a worldwide campaign on Facebook, Twitter, all across the internet. It's aimed at making WWE change their ways so that there won't be so many premature wrestler deaths in the future, and also so that the wrestling industry as a whole can become more healthy, more competitive, and can thrive again, can go into another boom period. And when you talk about people like Eddie and you know, the British Bulldog, who's obviously a big part of the British wrestling scene at one time, all these guys, we have a specific connection to them here, let alone in the United States. And everyone who grew up watching WWE has connections to so many people who are no longer with us, who died in many cases under the age of 40, and that's not right. Now, this campaign, as I say, has been endorsed by you. It's been endorsed by various other members of the wrestling industry, who I gather are going to be.
There's a lot more coming. There's a lot more. Their thoughts public soon. Can you just tell us why it is that you personally decided to get involved? Well, I mean, when I was originally contacted, I had alluded to when we did the interview, and I said I'd been contacted by some people that were involved in ethical boycotting of companies that they don't feel were ethical. And that explained to me how WWE was the next one on their hit list. And a lot of people talk and don't really do things. So they had mentioned that date, and that's when originally, you know, the 13th at Eddie's. But because also remember that, you know, that is not just the date that Eddie died, it's also the 5-year anniversary of the day that a certain wrestling company offered money to my contracted performers not to appear on my show. One of them took it, one of them didn't, stayed here, put me over, which was Mick Foley, because he was endorsing in his way, and then booked that venue 7 days later, which was actually in breach of the contract that I'd signed with the venue, which is technically contract tampering, as was the agreement that was breached. I didn't have the same day. This was on the same day as Eddie died, November the 13th, 2005. So the date is very symbolic because it shows that company not caring, actually doing things to sabotage an independent British promoter, at the same time as one of their talents died because of the lifestyle that he was living, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, no one can say to me that's incorrect, because there's too many other people that have gone the same way. So there's something happening. It's not, you know, so I heard nothing back for a little while, and that's why we wanted to have the party on that date. And then, you know, they contacted me about a month ago and said, listen, this is what we've got. And the guy who wrote the press release is actually written stuff that the Queen's read out. It's a campaign that he was involved with or something. Can't give you too much more information on it. But when I read it, I thought, this isn't wrestling. This is big, you know, because I had press releases myself, but it was so to the point, and it was so poignant. It was just so exactly what needed to be said. And I'm putting myself to it because I don't, like I told you, when I did that interview, I'm not here to sell my soul anymore. I've sold my soul on multiple occasions. I've sold my services, and I've done things which in hindsight I wish maybe I should have been more pro the British scene, and maybe I should, you know, but I'm making amends for that now. But it's not just the British scene, it's the worldwide wrestling scene. I'm a fan of the WWE. I'm not a fan of Vince McMahon. I'm a fan of the WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. If it wasn't for that company, I wouldn't be here, and none of us would be here. But we need to save it from itself right now. You know, we do need to stand up and say, listen, if the person who's guiding that ship is sending it into an iceberg, then let's not let the Titanic go down. Let's try and salvage it. And
This is the resistance, and we need your help.